I am a firm believer that people who go about their lives saying that, like, oh, life is boring, no one ever talks to me, are people that just don't accept side quests. You have the option to have the most exciting life. I have my friends tell me all the time, like, dang, the weirdest stuff happens to you. It is because I pray for weird things to happen to me and I open the door for those things to happen. Example. Yesterday, I drove my boyfriend to work. Usually he takes the bus because I live about an hour and a half away from San Francisco, and he was staying with me. But he worked at like 12 the next day, and we woke up and we were just really not feeling it. And we were like, you know what? I'll just drive you. I have the day off of work. So we drive to his work. He has to get out of my car kind of early, so I still had to park because he works on Haight Street, right? And if y'all know anything about Haight Street, it is that even on a Tuesday morning, you are not parking on Haight Street. And if you are, it's 30-minute parking, or your car's gonna get towed, or it's just an absolute nightmare. So I park up in like the neighborhood kind of, and then I'm walking down. And one thing about me is that I have a severe problem where I make conversation too often. And especially in the city, I've had the issue where I make really good conversation with the wrong people, and it gets me in bad situations. So I have learned to keep my head down if I'm walking alone. So I'm walking alone, I'm keeping my head down. As I'm walking, I see this dog out of the corner of my eye, and if there's a weakness that I have, if there is my kryptonite, it is dogs on the street, especially on Haight, especially in San Francisco, because people in San Francisco have the most interesting looking dogs. So I see this dog, and I'm like, oh my god, dog. So I'm looking at the dog. Out of nowhere, I hear, I love your hair, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna pee my pants. Like, that was absolutely horrifying, because I'm like tuning everything out, right? And then there's this huge statement, and I'm like, okay, all right, so I look up, I'll put a picture right here, and it's this awesome, beautiful woman who's got this hippie vibe going on. She has like a layout of all this beautiful jewelry, and I was like, oh my god, yes. So I see her vibe, I feel her vibe, and I'm like, okay, side quest. Okay, side quest right now. So I squat down in front of her little layout she's got going on, and I'm like, well, what's happening here? Like, what are we doing? And she's like, this is the jewelry I sell. I make like these rings and I make these bracelets. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm like, how much for the rings? And she's like, the rings are free. And I was like, no, they're not. But I didn't tell her that. So I start looking at the rings, and I have to be careful about this because me and my boyfriend have unfortunately small fingers, and she has a lot of big sizes and not a lot of little sizes. But I'm like, okay, all right, I can work with this. So I'm looking at the rings, and I'm like, what does this crystal mean? And she's like, that's the crystal of love. And I'm like, what does this crystal mean? And she's like, that's the crystal of longevity. At one point, I'm like, what's this crystal? She's like, that's called Fordinite. It's from when they closed down the Ford factories and turned the paint into rocks. And I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome, because I wouldn't have known that otherwise. And when she said Fordinite, I was like, oh yeah, that could be a crystal name, idiot. But anyway, so I choose these two rings and one of them, I was like, this, like, what, both of these will fit on one of us, right? Like, these, I don't care who takes what, but they're beautiful rings and they'll fit. So I pick out these rings. I'm like, I'm gonna pay you for these, because not only are you selling these for free and they're gorgeous, but you also just let me ask you a million questions about stuff I knew nothing about, because I don't know anything about rocks. Like, of course I want to know what this crystal means before I put it on my boyfriend's hand. Excuse me. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you $20 because I have a friend who sells her rings and she does $10 each. So $20 seems right if you worked on these hard. And she's like, you know, I love that and I appreciate it, but since you're giving me money for things I usually give away for free, I want you to take a bracelet. So I was like, okay. So I'm looking at the bracelets, and one of them is like this dark purple and it's beautiful, and another one is purple with turquoise crystals. And I'm like, oh, my boyfriend loves purple and turquoise. So I take that one. It's got a feather charm on it. It was gorgeous. And these rings, when I tell you, like, I think one of them was tiger's eye and the other one that I got was garnet. They're both gorgeous. It's like when jewelry makers like intertwine the wire and make it just like super pretty, and like, I'll put a picture for sure, but like, it was just gorgeous. And the fact that she worked on them and was giving them away for free because she thought it was fun. But with the bracelet, she's like, I put my heart and soul into these. These are my life passion. I was like, of course I'm taking one. I would have given her even more money, but I'm not that wealthy. So I got my rings and my bracelet. By the way, I spent like 10 minutes there. Okay, my boyfriend called me twice. I'm like alone wandering Haight Street, and he's like, is my boyfriend fine? He tells me all the time I'm not built for San Francisco. Yeah, true, I'm built for like my little town I live in. I love it, but like, I can be there. It's fine. It's fun to visit. So I show up at his work and I'm like, look, I got rings. And I show him and he loved it and he was so happy. But it was funny because then we left his work to go like get a drink because I was parched. Okay, parched because whatever. But we went to get a drink and her boyfriend happened to be there, the girl who sold me the rings. And her boyfriend is like, I love your guys' vibe and your hair. And I'm like, wow, you guys are made for each other. But you know what's crazy is that I wouldn't have been able to experience that if I was one of those people who just hear someone talking at me and I'm like, oh, like, sorry, I'm busy. Sorry, can't. Because honestly, she was giving away those rings for free. Like, you guys are so, like, conditioned to just hate everyone and, like, assume the worst of everyone that you never do anything in your lives. And if you're sitting there complaining to me about how your life is boring, I'm going to roll my eyes and look the other way because I know that there are possibilities because I see them every day and I participate in them, and everywhere I go is an experience, okay? All you have to do is have the mindset for it. And will that maybe get you in a dangerous situation? Yes. If you're going to be me, carry some pepper spray because, yikes, it was beautiful. Side note, I also took a picture of like her booth and her stand and everything. So if you live in SF and are able to get to Haight Street, go look at it because it was gorgeous. So I'm going to put the picture, I think, twice in the video. I'm going to put it when I'm talking about her, and I'm going to put it right here so you guys can actually take a minute to look at it because it's just so, like, vibes. And her dog is in it, who's really cute.